a young couple suddenly discovered that the apartment they bought with all their savings was inhabited by several monsters. These creatures often appeared out of nowhere and played pranks on the tenants, scaring them all away so no one would dare to stay. The helpless couple had no choice but to hire a sorcerer to expel the monsters. However, the sorcerer they hired was a fraud. He couldn't even see the monsters and was completely useless. Left with no other options, the couple sought out an exorcist named Gotaro. Gotaro was very powerful, and in an instant, he subdued 3 of the monsters. However, when the monsters heard that they were about to be kicked out, they began to cry and tell their side of the story. It turned out that the apartment was built on what was once a burial ground, and these monsters had lived there since ancient times. Humans had destroyed their former home, and now they were being forced out. If they were evicted, they would become homeless spirits, wandering without a place to go. Upon hearing this, the kind-hearted couple felt a bit sorry for the monsters. They decided to set some ground rules for peaceful cohabitation, reminding the monsters not to appear in front of people. The monsters agreed and continued living in the apartment. From then on, they behaved and never showed themselves in front of others. There were no more rumors of hauntings, and the couple enjoyed a peaceful life while renting out the apartment. Over time, their child grew up. Years passed, and the family's peaceful life was shattered when a large truck crashed into the apartment, destroying its tranquility. A real estate tycoon had his eye on the land and wanted to buy the property at a low price. Naturally, the couple refused to sell their hard-earned home. In the ensuing argument, the tycoon arrogantly drove a car into the apartment store and even threatened them with their daughter. The couple's daughter, who was preparing for her final exams, became increasingly anxious and stressed due to the tycoon's threats. Fearing for her well-being, the couple, unable to bear seeing their daughter suffer, finally gave in and handed over the land deed to the real estate tycoon. That very night, the 3 monsters visited the corrupt tycoon, scaring him so badly that he screamed and fled, never to set foot in the apartment again. This was their way of repaying the couple for taking them in. From that moment on, humans and monsters lived in greater harmony. Years later, the couple passed away, and even their daughter died young. The once bustling apartment gradually fell into disrepair. The property was inherited by the couple's granddaughter, Natsumi. At the request of her boyfriend, she decided to sell the apartment to buy a new home for their wedding. But as soon as she handed over the deed to her boyfriend, he suddenly changed his attitude and pushed her away. It turned out that Natsumi's boyfriend was the grandson of the corrupt real estate tycoon. He had been intentionally getting close to her to acquire her property and finish what his grandfather had started. Laughing triumphantly, the boyfriend left. But just as he was about to leave, 3 balls of ghostly fire appeared in his path. The monsters that had once protected the apartment reappeared, scaring him so much that he fled in terror. Standing there in front of the 3 monsters, Natsumi felt a mix of fear and apology. The monsters had pleaded with her to reconsider selling the apartment. Seeing her downcast face, they couldn't help but gently lick her cheek in comfort. In that moment, memories from Natsumi's childhood flooded back. She had known these monsters all her life and had grown up with them. However, because she spent so much time with them, she couldn't make friends with other children. The monsters were afraid she would be seen as strange, so despite their reluctance, they had hidden their forms and stopped playing with little Natsumi. But the monsters had never forgotten those happy days. Even though they hid their forms, they continued to watch over Natsumi as she grew up, keeping her company in their own way.